Hello, everybody. Mike Dewan here at the Region Sports Network, coming to you live here from Andrean High School. I am here with the head football coach of Andrean. It is Chris Skinner for another 100-yard walk. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm doing well. Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
No problem. Great to be here. Obviously, off-season, of course, well underway. But before you and I kind of got things going, it's a little bit of a different off-season here with Andrean, talking about how you guys are gearing up a little bit now kind of in this point of the off-season.
Yeah. Our big thing every year is the weight room. Speed training, strength training, developing explosive power. We feel like that's really important for our student population, our players, is to continually make strides on that front. Starting to install playbook a little bit, right? So thinking about what we're going to be doing when we hit the field in the summer. But yeah, a lot of effort and focus in the weight room.
Coach, elephant in the room, state champs, all right? You and I, we talked a little bit not too long. Of course, sending off one of your top offensive linemen to Indiana. A lot has kind of been different since that time we met. You guys got your rings. How are you feeling now as it's kind of that point of the season? You could talk to me a little bit more, Coach, where now kind of between 2025 and 2026, where it's kind of the last moments where you get your rings, you say your goodbyes to the seniors, but hey, 2026 knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's actually what we said when we passed out the rings. We did it during the school day. We said this is kind of the last time that we're here together as that 2025 version. Okay. Obviously, those seniors are off doing their yeah, that was a fun day. Obviously, kind of the encapsulation of all of that. But most of our guys have obviously already kind of turned the page. Our seniors, we do a leadership council, so I don't have individual captains. Our seniors have been, we met kind of thinking about theme for the upcoming year and kind of how we can assume those leadership roles now that the 2026 seniors are graduating here soon and off to the next thing.
Yeah, I've been asking coaches this. How was that state championship winning group of seniors from 2020? What are they to now kind of provide, and how were they kind of those leaders, if you will, for those now 2026 seniors? What can you say about the job that those guys did in 2025?
Yeah, I've stated this, publicly. Actually, this was something I talked about at our team banquet in front of the families. I was actually on last year's senior group. Originally in the spring and early summer, I just didn't think they were doing enough to kind of set the tone, to shepherd in the younger group, to kind of take on what it means to be a senior leader here, and tradition never graduates. So I was very honest about that with them. But man, the strides that they took summer throughout the season, where we were by the end of the year, really incredible. Incredible to see individual journeys that they had, but then collectively as a group, what they did with the team. And so now it's the new group's turn to do that, right? And so every season it's its own journey, it's its own chapter. Just starting their journey now as the new group of seniors.
To talk about 2025 a couple more times, Coach, was there a point in time in last season where you thought that this team, because you've been around some great teams both as a player and as a coach, but was there a time you could maybe pinpoint to think this team has the potential to really go far and maybe win a ring here?
Yeah, that's been a common question. It's difficult because there's so many factors that go into it, right? I think we knew as a coaching staff, we never really said this to the kids and to the team. I think we knew as a coaching staff that the potential.
Sure.
Obviously, we got to play a semi-state game here in 2024, and we came up short. We had a lot of experience coming back. I knew that was possible, but there's just so many things that can happen in the season that are going to prevent you from actually getting to that point. You got to stay healthy, right? You got to develop that leadership, that camaraderie. You got to be smart about what your rotations and players and schemes. So I think we knew it was possible. I can't say that there was a singular moment. I do know that we were excited to play Adams Central again in semi-state, and we were fortunate enough to be home again because redemption was kind of the theme for our senior class. And so it was like, well, how cool is it to play the same team here at home again to kind of redemption arc? So that was kind of cool. I wouldn't say that was new, but that was cool to kind of get to that point.
Have you heard? Stratford-Mantell was voted Best of the Region in 2025 in several categories, including Best Caterer, Deli, Flower Shop, Food and Grocery Delivery, Fried Chicken, Place to Buy Produce, Place to Buy Seafood, Loyalty Program, and Grocery Store. We're proud to be recognized by our community, and we're continuing to deliver the variety, value, and convenience you deserve. See for yourself what it means to be the best when you shop at Mantell.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your bid. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, man got you covered. As Crowell Company Lantern Man, I'm your insurance hero. Crowell Companies, insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialists.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits. And as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get away to a great career. Find out more. Visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
And now we're kind of in this point of the off-season, Coach. We talked earlier where, yes, there's a team out there, you had, kind of more weight lift. For those guys not with the program, you guys probably have one of the coolest slogans I've seen, tradition never graduates. You mentioned that earlier. Talk to me about this process in the season as you as kind of, the coach, the liaison, I guess, if in those guys to the next level. You already had some guys playing at all levels of college football and, even trying to make a shot at the NFL.
Yeah, so this is such a rapidly evolving of the game. Me and a couple coaches will meet. We'll kind of talk about this process for those that have that interest in potential. It's $1 billion business, right? And so you have to approach it that way. So, it's not so much about your scholarships anymore. You get a contract, right? Like these schools are offering you a contract. They're giving you a 12-month, an 18-month, a 24-month contract, right? And as part of that, as part of your contract, if you're fortunate enough to get the kind of the FBS level, you're going to negotiate, like, what are the terms of that? What's the revenue? How do you pay for tuition? Obviously, tuition is part of that. What are the NIL stipulations? It's just a crazy part of this, right? And so, not only are we prepping for the season, but, we're kind of actively involved in, like, help players and our families who have those goal dreams. What is that process like? Specifically the last 2 years, we've been big on, like, trying to learn agents. These kids have agents now, and it's like they're negotiating their deals, they're financial advisors, they're accountants, right? So you think that a 17, 18-year-old is talking to agents and agencies about what this is like, but that's the reality of this situation. And so this is why schools have general managers, right? The coaches, the position coaches, they don't want to talk about this kind of stuff, right? General manager handles that kind of stuff. So it's just kind of a wild part of all this, in addition to, development of your skill technique, plus the exposure part of this. So obviously, yeah, we've been hitting the weights hard, but for those that, have goals, we put a lot of effort into trying to get our kids recruited, get right in front of the right set of eyes, so that at least they have those opportunities. And what they do with them, obviously that's up to them. Sure. But we're proactive in that front, and I take a lot of pride in a couple of our coaches being very informed about that, always kind of learning about this process and trying to kind of help our families as best as we can.
The team effort. Before we hit the 50, Coach, I wanted to touch one more time on recruiting a little bit. Have you experienced, it's pretty challenging as kind of the lead guy of this group to, yes, you have a talented kid or a couple group of kids on your roster where they're probably going to do things at the next level. Yeah. But to keep them grounded, hey, we still have maybe 1 or 2 more seasons here at Broadway before we get going to the bright lights at the next level. What's that balance like where you that supportive guy for the next level, but also, hey, we got to just fall?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of our culture, right? It's why are you doing this? What are you getting out of this? So you have to enjoy what you're doing. You have to like being a part of this team and the Ram. Yeah. So I think that's an important part of it. But then also you have to be honest with them about what this journey is going to be like. Colleges are taking less high school kids now. That's just a reality, right? They're building their roster through some percentage of portal. And then, what percentage of that is coming from the high school athlete. So I think being honest with them about this process, being honest with their families as much as you can, there's only so much we can right? So part of this is like, work hard, play for your team, play for your teammates, focus on your self-development, because if you're successful on the field here, theoretically that's going to lead to opportunities at the next level, right? So in a way, that it kind of all works together, right? You're never a finished product. Look at Robbie Valentine, who's an awesome story. He finished up pro days, had an unbelievable career. It's like, well, that kid he's never said like, I'm satisfied, right? He's always reaching for more. And here we are, it would be awesome if he gets drafted, and we'll see what happens there. But it's like, just the attitude of like, there's always more out there, I think is really just, it ties into the motto of what we want to do.
No doubt about it, Coach. We're at the 50 now. I think the sun just peaked out.
Yeah,
so
there
this
we
is
go.
obviously a fun place we always like to kind of collect ourselves, Coach. A former Andrean player, now doing a lot of great things as a coach. I mean, what does this place really mean to you, maybe watching at home? I mean, what does it mean just to be an Andrean 59er?
It's difficult to describe. It's difficult to quantify. We just did a video interview yesterday. So Faith Sports International is a program in Illinois that recognizes, teams, athletes that integrate faith into what they're doing. And so, that's kind of a whole separate thing. But this whole video crew came because we're getting honored at their banquet in May. And they asked a lot of these same questions. It's kind of an Illinois-based organization, but we got nominated. I think Fenwick honored. I think potentially is getting nominated. So they didn't know much about Andrean, and they asked the same question. And it's like, it's so hard to quantify because you got to be part of this experience. And the experience is more than just academics. It's more than just athletics. The totality of your development as a human being and as a person. You're going to be challenged in the classroom. If you're an athlete, you're challenged on the field or on the court. But then it's also, there's requirements to be a servant leader, right? We ask so much of them on the religious side, on the service side, that you have to be bought into all of it, right? And so when you are, and when you succeed, it's difficult to describe what that experience is like, right? We talk about like the Andrean family, and that's kind of generic, but like, and you understand it, you feel it. And if not, you're probably like, well, those are just words, but it's like, those actually aren't. Like I know specifically because I was part of it, right? I was changed profoundly by my experience here. And so many teachers and coaches, that's why so many are Andrean alums, because they know what that experience is like. And I think we're all just trying to give back to the kids, to the next generation, to provide that same profound experience.
IBEW Local 697 is wiring buildings. We're woven into the very fabric of Northwest Indiana. We're your neighbors. Our kids go to school with yours. We stand in the same bleachers cheering for the same high schools. When you hire a union electrician, you're not just getting the highest quality work. You're supporting our community. IBEW Local 697, proudly powering our own.
At American Testing Services, based in Hobart, Indiana, we specialize in NDT drone inspections and heat treatment services for local mills, fab shops, and facilities across the country. From Northwest Indiana to nationwide, we deliver precision, safety, and reliability. American Testing Services, America's trusted name in NDT.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Corps Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
In education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana, Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers Craft Workers for Indiana Kentucky Apprenticeship, the best hands in the business.
If you know, you know, right? I guess in a way. So.
Yeah.
All right, we'll turn the page to 2026 here, Coach. This team coming up, obviously. You got up to 3A. We'll talk about the later of the schedule. What are you seeing so far from your group?
It's been very productive in the weight room.
Okay.
So I've liked that. Weight room numbers are generally smaller in the spring. We have a lot of multi-sport athletes, which is great. A lot of baseball, a lot of track, Our volleyball team's very successful. We have a handful of golfers. So they're doing their thing, which is great. But those that have been in the winter and the spring, it's been good. It's been productive. So, we're starting to implement book stuff and kind of turn the page as we get to the summer on-field portion. Good sign so far. I'm meeting with the seniors again next week. Kind of the leadership front, that's always the big part of it, is how are they going to bring everybody together to make this one cohesive unit. But it's been good so far.
If you were to select maybe a couple group of seniors maybe out there that are expected to be kind of those maybe leaders, maybe give us some names who you
Sure. So again, all seniors are partnership council
Yes,
until
sir.
they kind of prove otherwise. And then actually next week we're going to vote on some underclassmen. Ethan Reyna and Landon Murray were the two underclassmen that got voted by last year's senior group to be part of that. So as part of the leadership council, I always give them the opportunity to vote in underclassmen as kind of like the in training for the next season. And so Ethan Reyna and Landon Murray were voted last year. So they've been this experience. They are certainly not the only individuals, but if I had to pick two, well, they were the ones that got last year's senior group.
Sure. Coach, the rest of the schedule, kind of, yes, you get the questions all the time. You guys challenge yourself very, very early, of course, though you guys got a new opponent as well in the non-con, and you guys are moving up to 3A. Kind of your whole outlook, of course, in the schedule, of course, and an NCC that you guys are looking to do damage in once again.
Yeah, we're up competition. We played Angola last year. We traveled out to Angola week 7. We're now playing Guerin Catholic down in Indy week 7. But the idea is let's challenge ourselves. Competition is only going to lead to greater things in terms of our development, right? Iron sharpens iron. And so that's been our philosophy for a long time. Sometimes take some bumps and bruises along the way, but I always feel like at the end of it, our coaches do a great job of kind of learning from that competition. Understand the standard, right? That's important too. Why do we have such a challenging schedule? Why are we driving to Fort Wayne or down to Indy? It's because at the end of the day, like that's what you want to be doing in the postseason anyway, right?
Sure.
You want to take this ride somewhere, right? You want to know what that's like. You want to post, and if you want to be the best, you have to beat them, right?
Sure.
It's always been our philosophy.
All right, I think we'll call this the red zone here. We got the soccer marks out here,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
we'll kind of quick fires, Coach. You
Okay.
ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's roll right to it. What has been your favorite memory as part of the Sandrain family?
Ooh, man.
If you would give me maybe
Favorite memory. I mean, it's special playing Lucas Oil. I mean, it's really hard to describe everything that's about it. It's not so much just being there, but seeing kind of the reward of all of the work that you put into that. So, obviously I've been fortunate enough as a player to play there, assistant and as a head coach. So I think that's the best part is like when you put in all that work and you get the end of it, that's pretty cool. Doesn't the families enjoy that?
Nothing like it. Have you had a favorite player, a football player growing up, or somebody maybe in today's game?
Ooh, favorite player. I actually like, this is going to be deep, Sean Springs, who was a cornerback at Ohio State, wore number 24, which is like the number I picked in football. He was a cornerback. He played for the Seahawks, but I always kind of liked the way that he played. So that was like when you reach that age where you can like memorize players and names and numbers, right? So 8 years old. But that was somebody I always kind of thought about. And then just in general, DB Jenkins, Damon Moore, who also Ohio State. I don't know. I've always kind of looked at those guys at how they've played.
All right, what are some traits that DB's essential? Obviously, of course, good ball skills. But what are maybe some intangibles, Coach, that maybe kind of fly under the radar? And
you got to be a competitor, right? Like, especially in today's day and age, where like the passing game has expanded. Like you're going to get beat at times, right? But quick memory, and you kind of have to have that dog mentality. It's like, okay, won, but no more today.
That's good stuff. About favorite Andrain tradition.
Ooh, I love going to the grotto after so every Friday and a game day.
Okay.
We go to Mass. So we have Mass in our chapel. And then after Mass, we do a grotto dedication. And the idea is that you light a candle for somebody or somebody's. You're grateful for them. Maybe they're struggling. You want to, say a prayer for them. But the idea, I'm all of my opportunities are in large part because of other people. And so I want to dedicate this game to them. Or I want to thank them, or I want to pray for them if they're in a time of need. So it's pretty cool to watch our guys go into the grotto, light the candle, take a knee, say some prayers before we kind of turn the page to like all football stuff.
That's very cool stuff.
That's special.
Do you have any coaching mentors to shout out here today, Coach?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for Brett St. Germain, coach. I just the tenacity by which he coached, the attention to detail. the maybe OC nature of kind of how he put things together. I certainly picked up on a lot of that. I had a close relationship with senior too. And then I got 1 year to him when I was in college, and I would come back. And then Phil Mason. I mean, I learned a lot about the X's and O's, the daily operations of what it means to be a coach from Phil. And without him providing those opportunities, like he knew this is where I wanted to be at some, and so him kind of shepherd me along that journey. I'm, grateful for that as well.
Do you have stuff to do on a game day to get yourself in the right headspace?
Me personally?
Yes.
No, man.
Player even, or
I mean, you have certain traditions as a best, so there's nothing
playlists or superstitions, or
honestly,
clothes you have to wear, or
No, I will not wear pants until the playoffs. So that's like you got to wear shorts until week 10.
No matter what.
No matter what. Yeah. So there's some cold games sometimes in the season, like rain, and it's like you're wearing shorts until 10.
When did that start?
I think it's always been that I started coaching. I don't know how that started, to be honest with you. There's some coaches on our staff that have other traditions like that. We got a coach.
I've seen the cutoff
sleeves, right? Coach Lemire, Duke Lemire. So I don't know when that started for me personally, but probably from the first time I started coaching. I'm not sure.
I guess a double barrel, but do you wear shorts in the playoffs then if it's a decent
if it's nice.
day?
Yeah, for sure. If it's nice.
Parity, right? Few and far between. So good stuff. All right, we'll cross the goal line here, Coach. Any final words in our A&T team, what we can expect for what, again, the standard is the standard here. The culture is, set in stone, of course, with you at the helm. And again, kind of wrap it all up, Coach. What do you think?
I think this is generally like I hope we play a style of football that people appreciate. Obviously, not everybody likes it for whatever reason, but like I hope when you actually watch us play the physicality, that you can at least step back and say, you know what, they play the game the right way. We're always respectful of our opponents. It's a physical game, obviously, right? But I hope people can at least step back and appreciate the time that our coaches put into it, the effort that our players show, how hard they work, the physicality by which we play the game. Whether you like us or not, hopefully, like you at least respect the way we play the game, because this is an awesome game. The ultimate team sport, and we take a lot of pride in hopefully doing it the way you're supposed to do it.
Couldn't agree more, Coach. The Andrean 59ers will seek to go back-to-back, now up at 3 after a state championship last fall. For Coach Skinner, I'm Mike Dewan with the Region Sports Network, only game in town.
Get Pulse Technology on your team and score a touchdown with our managed print and copier services. Cover your bases with our IT and technology solutions, or hit a home run with our wide selection of office supplies, scoreboards, or AV solutions from technology. That's a slam dunk. Or go for the grand slam with our office furniture and design services. Get in touch with us today. Pulse Technology, powering Indiana business since 1919.
Sometimes the hardest part of improving business isn't coming up with a great idea. It's knowing what to do with it. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services is ready to meet industrial and commercial constructions. Whether it's a small build-out or a complete construction project, Chester will design and finance. Our team eliminates multiple contractors, providing you a single point of contact while staying within your budget. Chester Inc. Architectural and Construction Services, turning your ideas into realities.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.
In the heart of downtown Indianapolis, the newly renovated Hampton Inn is within walking distance to over 30 restaurants and attractions, including Lucas Oilfield and Gamebridge Fieldhouse. Hampton Inn has much to offer, including a hot breakfast, high-speed internet access in every room, as well as a fitness center. Why wait? Make your reservations today. Call 317-261-1200 or make them on the web at hamptonin3.hilton.com. Hampton Inn, Indianapolis, downtown.